if you have photosensitive epilepsy, look away now, because these are the most intense games ever made. And also this. This is the most intense game of them all, actually. Now in this video, I've got 10 of the most explosively awesome games that will make your thumbs catch fire, make your eyes bleed, and make your ears... your ears will be fine. So let's dive right onto it, shall I? Rez Infinite. This is Rez Infinite, a video game for the brain. It gets your synapses firing, your cerebral valence gnashing, and just generally gets all your brain lobes pumped up. Because Rez Infinite is a 3D rail shooting action game designed to trigger your human senses. Now, mechanically, it's very simple. Hold a button to lock onto baddies and then release to fire. And that's pretty much it. And you basically just float around inside an 80s computer-generated music video, zapping Zoids, your blasters blending perfectly with the music. And when you're ready to dive down a layer, shoot the cube 8 times and send your avatar deeper into the mainframe of a malfunctioning AI operating system or something. Anyway, it doesn't matter because it's all about the massive mind collapse you'll get from the polygon blasting, techno beat syncing, 3D flying through the matrix and the colours. Rez is an extremely immersive experience. All of its elements are perfectly distilled into pure video game. There's a particularly amazing bit where you're soaring through the backrooms, chasing a cube man. Yeah, on paper it sounds pretty basic, but there's nothing else quite like it in a video game. It's a sensory delight that fills your soul with energy and joy and just freaking juice, quite frankly. And not in a crass way like a can of Red Bull, but more like a continuous jolt of excitement into your brain via your thumb tips, eyeballs and ear holes. Nex Machina. Now we're in for some action, Jackson, because next on the agenda, Brenda, is the king of arcade fundamentals and ballistic pixel mayhem, the absolute blaster masters, Housemarque Game Makers, from Finland. And this is Nex Machina, and that's Latin for death by robot hordes, probably. This is an isometric twin-stick shooter of intense action and chaotic commotion, inspired by classic arcade shoot-em-ups like Smash TV and Robotron 2084, from action arcade developer legend Eugene Jarvis, who Housemarque actually collaborated with for this game. There's even a documentary about it, a whole big thing. Anyway, Nex Machina is an action game that strips away all the unnecessary intrusions of video games like stories and characters and basically any activity that isn't blasting away hordes of robot blingwads in a hailstorm of lasers and missiles. So the concept is very simple, as are the controls. Just move and shoot with the sticks. But the complexity of it comes from how you navigate the mayhem. A good start would be to never stop moving and never stop shooting. And like most games on this list, in order to succeed, you'll need to become one with the game. Enter the zone and see past the mayhem. Only then will the game truly reveal itself to you, like a magic eye picture. But instead of a schooner, it's a robot with a minigun. Sometimes you're swarmed by so many cranky robots, you can't even see where you are. It's total carnage. But it is very hard to put down, because Housemarque are just so good at absolutely nailing those gameplay fundamentals that tickle your little brain balls. It's spectacularly good fun. Resogun. So, before there was Nex Machina, there was Resogun. Resogun is a scrolling shooter game, and it too was also inspired by another arcade classic by Eugene Jarvis, Defender. If you don't remember Defender, well, it's a bit like Resogun. So in Resogun, you fly around up and down and in orbit around an invisible cylinder type deal, and you'll face whole clusters of flying alien gits. Power up your blasters all the way up to quadruple lasers sometimes. Boost through and out of the way of enemy fire, and unleash a devastating overdrive to disintegrate the Decepticon asswipes, all the while rescuing cubic humans on the side for points and cash, except not cash. This is another of Housemarque's glorious arcade blasters with super tight controls and solid action fundamentals, and it looks incredible, with voxels flying up the yin-yang. It's another frenzy of excitement, high score chasing, and dexterity testing move and fire action and lasers, with an unwavering focus on pure gameplay. This is a modern arcade classic. Aka R. Yak, aka Jeff Minter, is a legendary game developer wizard. He's like if Gandalf didn't make fireworks but instead programmed games for the Commodore, and with similar results. Because Minter is known for his surrealist, psychedelic arcade shooters like Attack of the Mutant Camels and Sheep in Space, and also Andy's Attack, a Defender clone, with his main source of inspiration being the works of, can anyone guess? Eugene Jarvis. That's right. See, it's all connected. So this here is Aka R. You can probably tell how the game works just by looking. No? Well, I'm not 100% sure how it works myself. So you have to drop bombs on the surface, which is that semi-transparent iridescent shape thing in the middle of the screen, and the bombs explode, sending out shockwaves. Sometimes the shockwaves are different shapes depending on something, and you destroy alien ships with the shockwaves who, as a result of exploding, create their own shockwaves, destroying other enemies caught in that shockwave. The idea is to chain shockwaves together for maximum destruction and point scoring. Then also you can rapid fire projectiles to destroy enemies and incoming missiles. Oh, you're the little triangular ship in the middle, by the way. And if an enemy lands on the surface, they can go downstairs and steal your pods, which are like your lives. But if that happens, you can go downstairs after them and kill them to get your pods back. And if you get hit by a projectile, you lose a pod as well, I think. Anyway, it's game over when you lose all your pods or you catch epilepsy. And the whole thing is completely bonkers, highly addictive, and insanely good fun. Thumper. In this game, you're a chrome bug. A chrome bug riding on a rail at great speed. The rail is endless, scattered with illuminated tiles and fraught with obstacles that hurtle towards you rhythmically. Tap the button on the beat of the music to satisfyingly thump the tile as you pass, and input corresponding commands to avoid the obstacles with a percussive shaklaki. Timing is key. Fudge it up, hit a wall or miss a beat, and you'll lose your shiny carapace. Do it again and kaboosh! Back to the start. And this game is relentless. It just doesn't let up. Thumper Chromebug just keeps on rolling, baby. Similarly to the new God of Wars, with the one whole shot single take deal, one stage of Thumper just seamlessly rolls into the next. But this is essential though, because so much of your success in Thumper depends on your ability to get into the zone. If your flow were to be interrupted by a pesky load screen, this game would be 10 times harder than it already is. And it's already 3 times harder than one might have originally expected. Maybe 4 times. Depends on the player. But this game is hard. To hit those high scores, you'll need thumbs like Bruce Lee. Oh, those thumbs were fast as lightning. You'll need to play with expert timing, but it's not frightening though. Maybe a little bit frightening. I mean, look at this guy. This is a white knuckle game. I find myself really gripping the controller and violently stabbing at the buttons while playing, or tilting the controller while going into a turn like that will somehow help me, looking like someone gave their grandparent a go at the game. But when you do get into the groove, it's like magic. You feel like some kind of space drummer legend from the future, thumping down the track and whip-cracking through walls and thrumming round corners with a massive smile on your face, feeling like, how the hell am I doing this? At least that's what I felt like. Sayonara Wild Hearts. Sayonara Wild Hearts is a rhythm action game set in a purple dream world. Collect hearts and avoid solid objects that kill your momentum. There's dreamy visuals and dreamy music, and I think there's some kind of story playing out in the background as well, where a girl is trying to get her mojo back and fix her broken heart while brawling with a biker gang like the musical Grease combined with a Scott Pilgrim fever dream. The game is very fast, short sharp levels, quickly hopping between genres like they're going out of fashion. Side-scrolling, on rails, first person, switching between flying or riding, either a car, motorcycle, or a magical stag. Nothing sticks around long enough for you to get comfortable. Whether you're weaving between pesky trees in a mystic forest, or weaving in between pesky air ducts on a mystic highway, the dream pop synthwave soundtrack syncs harmoniously with the ethereal joyriding gameplay, and it's sort of like a virtual album interactive music video sort of thing. Personal highlights for me include dusting up some Doris who's got a bob cut and a skull face until she pukes a green vomit road for you to ride your bike on. And then also I like when the narrator, who is Queen Latifah of all people, turns out, who didn't understand the assignment or basic pronunciation, reads out KO as ko. Good times. Pac-Man Champion Edition 2. When unassuming high school student Patrick Mackey is bitten by a radioactive Pac, he becomes the Pac-Man and embarks on a quest to go into a maze and rid it of white dots and ghosts for good. It's a tale as old as Tim. Now, the original Pac-Man is of course an eternal, timeless, classic video game for the ages in the whole world, and has since inspired an entire franchise, all starring the little yellow pizza-shaped goober. But classic Pac-Man isn't dick compared to this, Pac-Man Champion Edition 2. In this version of Pac-Man, you get all the same pellet-munching action with fruit on the side, but now, as you rush around mazes, you can give your ghostly pursuers a bit of a bump. But body check the boos 3 times, however, and they'll start raging and then try and murder you with a ghostly right hook. Also, in addition, around the maze, you'll find other little sleeping ghosts. Aww. Wake them up and they'll start following the main ghost like some kind of ghost train. Ha! Big mistake. Eat enough pellets to get powered up and in familiar fashion turn the tables on your spooky assailers. Eat the ghost train leader and you'll eat all his ghost train buddies for dessert in one sitting. The more little ghosts you wake up, the longer the train and the more points you rack up. Along with the scintillating visuals and butt-slapping beats, it makes for vibrant and thrilling arcade action. But Pac-Man's Champ Ed 2 is at its most intensely fun at high speeds. As stages progress, the pace really ramps up, and this game really flies. You zip around the maze at breakneck speeds. Possible only because Pac-Man doesn't have a neck, I think. It's as frantic as a mother flipper. This is an awesomely intense spectacle worthy of the name Pac. Wipeout, the Omega Collection. Gravity? Pah! Applesauce. We don't need gravity where we're going, because this is the anti-gravity races. Where gravity ends, the race begins. That's the slogan for Wipeout. Just the last bit, not the other stuff. The slogan for Wipeout doesn't include the word applesauce anywhere, to my knowledge. And not only is the racing in Wipeout sans grav, but it's also very, very fast. And at such high speeds, you'll need cat-like reactions to take corners and an elephant-like memory to remember when they're coming. Rocketing around pulsating neo-futuristic courses that snake around mega cyber cities is exhilarating. Some of these tracks are brutal. They make Mario Kart's Rainbow Road look like... what's less threatening than a rainbow? They make Rainbow Road look like Pastel Rainbow Road, with the high-velocity rush for first place amidst an explosive tussle is as awesome today as it was on the PS1, and even more so in Zone Mode, in which the player must survive as their ship increasingly accelerates to extreme speeds around an endless loop. If you want to make it to the end, you'll need to slip into a flow state, a small pocket in between hyperfocus and comatose. It's what Nigel Mansell used to do. Tetris Effect. Everyone loves blocks that slot together in a pleasing way. Lego, Duplo, or just regular bricks, for heaven's sake. They started the whole thing after all. But what about blocks that slot together in time to the beat of euphoric electro music? Well then, poo a breeze block, because now you've got yourself a brain-stimulating video game there, Tiger. So anyway, I'm talking about Tetris Effect. The game that took the classic puzzle formula and cranked up the vibes with a visual overhaul of explosive special effects, magical backgrounds, and dynamic music that bops in time with the block drops. As if Tetris wasn't satisfying as all heckfire as it was, this is next level Tetris. The famous shapes shimmer and sparkle and sync with your actions. 3D worlds unfold around you and take you on an emotional journey through jellyfish forests, celestial dolphin cities, and neon jazz canyons. That's just a rough approximation. But it's a very transportative experience. The music is really uplifting and there's a vibrancy and kinetic rhythm to the falling blocks that when paired with the intense neon light show of the stages themselves, it makes playing this game feel like your own private party inside your own private club. And what I really like is how you start off really concentrating, taking your time, thinking about the placement of each individual block. But then as the visuals and music wash over you, gradually you stop thinking and instead you're just cruising on autopilot, immersed in the spectacle, and it's just blissful. blissful as all hell. That is until, in pure Tetris fashion, things start to get rapidly disorganised most heinously, and in the later levels the gameplay quickly shifts from dreamy and relaxing to frenzied and stressful before you can say "Henk, Roger me sideways." But that's what Tetris is all about. Calm, methodic and meditative flow states contrasted against frantic split decisions and disarray, which is a bit like life really, except for the calm meditative flow states. Everything. Here I am controlling a VHS tape, talking to a small patch of rough grass. The rough grass is making some profound philosophical statements that I don't fully understand. This is everything. A game about everything. Existence, our place in the world, and how we perceive existence and our place in the world. Now the gameplay isn't very intense. Actually, it's pretty mellow. You can just float around or roll around. And in fact, if you put the controller down for a minute, the game will just play itself all the way to completion. But what makes this game so intense is the existential philosophy. Also this. That's pretty intense. So everything was created by artist, animator and filmmaker David O'Reilly, and it's a free-roaming interactive experience narrated by the late great philosopher Alan Watts. It features a massive diversity of playable characters and objects, everything from microbes and bacteria, to animals and buildings and even planets and galaxies. You can soar as a bird or scuttle as a bug, drift like a star or float as a spore. And every now and then you'll be gifted with a reality bomb from Alan Watts. Some large truth nuggets. Now, usually philosophy and deep self-reflections and life's big unanswerable questions makes me feel anxious and concerned. And that's what makes everything so intense. For a video game to delve into the meaning of existence is highly unorthodox, but Alan Watts is so insightful and almost nonchalant in his delivery that it makes playing everything very relaxing, almost meditative, that you come away from the game with a kind of reassurance, a better sense of your place in the world, and see things in a different light. Give it a whirl. Right, that's it. I've got an ocular migraine, and so I'm off for a lie down. And if you too would like to have your own migraine, then please subscribe to my channel where there's lots of other migraine-inducing videos like this one. Please enjoy. Okay, bye.